Everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our continuing series, the Unported Playlist, where I take a look at some of my favorite unported arcade games of all time. Today we got a weird shmup for you, and that is Diet Family. It is a Korean shmup from 2001, but it is actually a really fun game, and it's cute and endearing to boot. And it is made by Semicom, a Korean developer. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, hit like, subscribe, that notification bell definitely helps us out. The cat's a member, are you? And if you want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But this game, if you just see it in screenshots, looks like something that you could completely ignore. But I will tell you, while it's not the best shmup ever made as far as difficulty is concerned, it is a ton of fun and it is cute, and as a two-player game, it is even better. The mechanics are basically what you would expect from a shmup, but there are some strange things. We need to avoid getting hit by the food. You don't immediately die, but it'll either take your energy down, or if it's a fatty food, it'll increase your fat. You'll see there we use one of the power-ups that we'll use later, and it's a giant mouth that comes out of the stage. But each enemy you face is food. I think these guys are mushrooms right here, I'm not sure. Maybe those are carrots, maybe there's some sort of radish. It is hard to tell because I'm not familiar with Korean cuisine. I love eating it, but I don't know all the ingredients. But this game is just charming as all hell. The success screen where you see how many things you shot in your score. It's bright, it's colorful, it's wacky, and it's weird. And it's the type of game that's going to make you have a big smile on your face the entire time you were playing it. And that's why we all play video games, I think, to be happy and to smile. And again, I think those might be, some soju bottles coming in. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think certain characters are, because some things I can identify easily, like a mushroom or an egg. Other things I'm not quite sure. And we even have pigs, and they're very happy pigs. But I love all the animations and the colors. You can stun your enemies and they just wiggle around, allowing you to shoot at them. But those pigs are going to take parts of their body out and throw like fat bacon at you, and that's kind of a little bit grim if you think about it. They're actually taking hunks of their body and throwing them directly at you. And I'm pretty sure those are edamame beans, but again, leave me a comment down below, you tell me. Radish, strawberry, who knows, does it matter? It doesn't, just shoot them in the face and they're gonna go away. But that's the thing about Diet Family, it's so cute and endearing, it makes you really want to figure out what is going on. You'll see here that there's a pink pill coming down, and that is going to go ahead and up our energy or our life bar, and blue pills will come down that will up your fire and reduce your fat meter, because you don't want to get too fat in the game. Maybe it's giving you the wrong message. You're fine the way you are, and if you do want to lose weight, don't use diet pills, but that's what the game's all about, so I gotta talk about it. And I love the first boss here. It is just a Korean woman riding around on a daikon radish. The game is colorful, it's cute, it's well animated. Of course, for 2001, it is quite simplistic, but that's what I really like about it. It is as stylish as it needs to be, and it's not using any graphical effects that aren't really going to add anything to the game, because it is just so cartoony. I can't help but love it, and in some ways, not mechanically but visually, it reminds me a lot of Twinkle Star sprites on the Neo Geo. So if you like that art style, you're definitely going to find a lot to love with Diet Family as well here. But now, just skipping around a little bit, we're going to go to the first bonus stage, and you get a bonus stage between each quote-unquote world or cuisine. They get progressively harder, but the goal is to basically either shoot everything you see, or only shoot certain things that come onto the screen. And I will say, shooting everything you see is a lot easier than selectively trying to lead your shots to where your opponent is going versus where they already are. But if you do well, like I did here, you're able to get 100% and move on to the next stage, which is going to be Western dishes. And sometimes this game confuses me a little bit, and you'll see shortly, but moving right into Western dishes, I love when overseas companies try to figure out what America's all about, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. It was always kind of right, but not quite. I think those are hot dogs, but they might be kidney beans. We definitely have slices of pizza. And we've got America Ford. It's a Statue of Liberty holding a hot dog with another bucket of hot dogs in her arms. Does it make any sense? Probably not. Is it amazing? Absolutely. Does it make me laugh? 100%. But as good as this game looks and as fun it is to play, it also sounds awesome, so go ahead and listen for like 45 seconds and I'll come back and talk more about this wild shmup called Diet Family. Enjoy while we shoot those cows. It's a great soundtrack, it's catchy, and it's cute. But when I mentioned that when Eastern developers try to imagine what America's about, sometimes they just get it wrong, because that you just saw was the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it was shirtless men lying on the ground. Definitely doesn't remind me of America whatsoever, but of course we have Clint Eastwood there. This is the Western themed level, because of course if you think of America, what do you think of? Hot dogs? The Wild Wild West? And apparently the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And that's the thing, every time a video game from the 90s or early 2000s made in Asia talks about the US, there's always some things that just make absolutely zero sense whatsoever. I mean, we definitely eat a lot of steak, so we have cows here, we eat a lot of pizza, that's fine. But the 50s diner waitress that has some Marilyn Monroe vibes going, you'll see in a second, again, it makes enough sense, but it's just fun, and what does it matter? I mean, we're shooting food and trying not to get calories, maybe picking apart what they think America is all about is kind of pointless, but we gotta talk about it because it is on screen, and I love that she was riding around on a gigantic hot dog. I think of pizza and hamburgers more than I think of hot dogs, and I think of the US, even though I live in Chicago and the Chicago-style hot dog reigns supreme. You tell me in the comments below, what one food do you think personifies America? I'd really be curious to hear what you guys say and think. But moving on to another stage, I've kind of jumped around, there's Japanese food. I will say that this game sometimes has a little bit of a inappropriate concept of what they think different cultures and races look like. That Japanese guy there had a little bit of a tooth thing going on that's kind of something that is passé at this point in time, but it's in the game. So we're fighting onions, we're fighting eggs. And I don't know if onions are so much Japanese. I get these puffer fish here and the tuna. Tuna, Japanese sushi, absolutely delicious, but even some of the foods are kind of a little bit wiggly, and they use egg for absolutely every level, because I guess every culture uses egg. But you get bowls of ramen and all sorts of other fun and weird stuff. And that's the thing about Diet Family. The shmup aspect is actually really good. They've got a lot of good patterns. Those eggs there have that geometric shape to them. Everything's moving around. It is just fun, and that's the thing that I love about these type of games. Most people, I'm assuming, that are watching this have probably never heard of this before, but now you have, and you can pop it into MAME and emulate it. How much does an original arcade board go for? I have no idea. I could not find a single one to buy, but I'm assuming as it's a rare game, released only in Korea, if you do find a copy, you probably want to bring your wallet. But why buy it? You can just emulate it like we're doing here. And now we're moving on to Chinese food. It's covering all the different ethnicities and their foods, and kind of makes me hungry when I play it. I actually did, when I recorded the voiceover for this, go out and get Chinese food after the fact. This game actually did get me. Now, is this one of the all-time great unported arcade games? No, of course it's not. It's a small experience that you're going to spend like 20 minutes with, and you're going to move on with your day. But you're always going to remember playing Diet Family, and that's why I included it on this list, because sometimes you want a small experience. You want an experience that's just weird for weirdness sake, but also has good gameplay. And that's the thing. Shooting pandas while you're trying to avoid food, to not get fat, to use diet pills to reduce your calories, that's just a weird concept. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know who came up with it. But when you're playing it and you're enjoying the game and you're enjoying the shooting aspect and getting the bosses and trying to go for that high score, the one credit clear, it is a ton of fun. And that's just why I love this game so much and why I wanted to include it on here, because I also always love talking about games that people probably haven't seen before. I love getting comments saying, I've never heard of this game before, and then I tell you to go play it, and you come back and say you enjoyed it for the most part. That is part of the reason I do unported playlists, to talk about games that you've never heard of before. Because what other game are you shooting bowls of ramen while you're shooting pandas, while you're also fighting a Chinese chubby chef? And that's the thing, the backgrounds aren't that exciting, but the sprite work and the animations are quite good, and the bullet patterns are pretty decent as well. This definitely isn't a hard shmup, but if you're not into the genre and you want to start someplace with something a little bit easy, definitely give it a go, because this is a cute 'em up in the same vein as something like Parodius or Twin Beat would be, or even Tobey Polystars. If you've been watching my channel, you know I love to bring that up any chance I get. But yeah, Diet Family, released in 2001 as a Korean exclusive, and now we're moving on to fast food. And there was what looked to be like the dude from SimCity there. Really not sure what he has to do with fast food, and I'm really not sure what onions have to do with fast food. But those are definitely Cokes flying in, and we got some French fries, and that definitely does track. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. This is Diet Family. If you have played this, I would love to know, and I'd love to know where you heard about it, because I heard about this like 5-6 years ago. I can't remember where, but now that I've played it, I love it, and I want to talk about it. Short of that, hit like and subscribe. I'll be back next week with more important. I'll have videos throughout the week as well, but I'm going to go get some French fries. Bye-bye.